Hey guys, welcome to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, where I'm about to give you a complete walk around of this. Not the 350, not the 370Z, but the Z. Probably one of the most exciting new cars I've been looking forward to driving and reviewing. And in this video, we're gonna take a complete walk around. We're gonna talk about design, we're gonna go under the hood, we're gonna go inside, show you what's cool inside, we're gonna go to the back, and we're just gonna have a great conversation. Now, I do apologize, I'm here and there's a bunch of military jets flying around, F-22s and I think Warthogs. So if you're into military jets, you will see those in the background, but that seems strangely appropriate. So let's dive in to the new Z. Now, as you know, the Z came out 53 years ago. This is a car that I'm a huge fan of. I've actually owned 3 of them, and my favorite car that I've ever owned, not just Z, but favorite car, is the 300ZX Twin Turbo, which I owned in 1992. So just keep that in mind when I'm doing this, because I am a fanboy of the Z. But let's talk about where we should always start, and that is styling. And by the way, at the end of this review, pricing has not yet been announced here in America, but it has been announced in Japan, so I will let you know how much it costs. So I think the most important thing is right here. As you can see, there's this little round bezel that goes around the headlight, and that of course signifies and represents the original Z, right, which had a round headlight. So what they've done is they've kept the original design language, they've modernized it, and they've made it much more relevant to today's automotive trends. And I think that is way cool. Now, when this first came out, Nathan and I did a video, and some of you complained about the fact that this grille was kind of a big black box. And, you know, the more I look at it, the more I don't mind that it's a big black box. I talked to the engineers, and the reason for that is because they've upped the horsepower and they've upped the torque, which means that they need to up the cooling. And so they wanted a big open maw to let as much air in as possible. In a second, we'll go under the hood and talk about how much horsepower and how much torque. Now, this is the Proto Edition, the top dog, the most fancy one of them all. There goes an F-22, I think. They're all over the place. It's so cool. And what distinguishes this Proto from the run-of-the-mill Z is, of course, the fact that it's got these gorgeous copper, shall we call them copper wheels? And one of the things that they've changed from the previous generation is they've put more rubber on the front. These are now 255/40 R19s, which Nissan says give you a lot more grip, a lot more performance on the track, make it a lot more sure-footed. Now, what I love about the Z, and I've always loved, is the classic design, right? Long hood, front-engined, rear drive with a manual transmission, and all that is still here. But let's look under the hood, because we have gone now to a twin turbo V6 that produces about 60 horsepower more. And the numbers are actually round and easy to remember. So this power plant now puts out, get this, 350 pound-foot of torque and 400 horsepower, which, believe me, is plenty to chirp the rear wheels and put a big smile on your face. Now, May 18th, there is a driving embargo. In other words, they're trying to keep it fair for all the journalists. So on May 18th, all the reviews of it will drop, and I'll show you how it drives. But I did have a chance to do a 0 to 60 on the old car, the new car with the manual, and of course the automatic. And you'll be sure to stay tuned for that. And that'll be, of course, on alltfl.com. So let's talk about the rest of the design. You've got this really interesting, dare I say it, katana sword right there in the roofline, which does a beautiful job of separating the black roof from the yellow body. I do like this yellow. Yellow is the color that cuts both ways, you know. You either love it or hate it. There are very few people who are kind of ambivalent, and in this car, I love it. I especially love the yellow Z brakes. I think that's a really cool design touch. And in the back here, they've paid homage to my favorite Z, which of course is the 300ZX Twin Turbo. And as you can see, these little round, actually oval taillights, those are reminiscent of that generation of Z, giving the car kind of a wider, fatter, flared stance. And of course, one of my favorite things are the dual exhaust. My car had quads, but I do like these little drills in the exhaust. It's pretty cool. Now let's talk about the room. It's not huge, but you know, if you have a gym bag or you and your significant other are traveling across country, then plenty of room in the back here for your gear, as you can tell. Now, the question that unfortunately I won't be able to answer, but you might be asking yourself is, has the Z returned to its sports car roots? I did drive the very first generation, and my God, that car was alive. It felt like it was like hardwired to my brain. Light, agile, and most importantly, fun. And then over the generation, the Z became, there you go, look at that. The Z became, much more of a grand tourer, a car that was good at gobbling up many miles and less of a track-focused vehicle. Has this car returned to its roots? Wow. I think it's time to go inside and talk about the interior. So check this out. The Proto version has this really gorgeous stitching with almost this ghost-like stripe in yellow. And they have upgraded the car in a lot of ways to make it much more modern. But before we talk about the cool bits, come on in, Ian. Let's talk about the not so cool bits. Because it wouldn't be a review if we just had praise for it. First and foremost, as you can tell, yeah, I don't fit. I've got an extremely long body and short torso. I'm 6'2", but my head hits this. And imagine if you had a sunroof here or T-tops. Yeah, I just don't fit. And I have the exact same issue with the car that competes directly against this, and that, of course, is the Toyota Supra. So, it's not built for big and, shall I say, girthy Americans, or husky Americans. I hate that word. At least not for me, and that's a shame because I really do want to love this car. The other thing that's kind of awkward is the fact that there's one cup holder right there, which isn't grand. You don't want a cup holder where you rest your elbow, but there are, if you show them, Ian, there are 2 cup holders in the door, so you can put your drinks there. And then, of course, in the back here, you do have some cubbies for smaller items, like if you have a purse or something and you wanted to store that. So let's start it up. And the best thing I think in this car is it's still available in manual. How many manual cars are there? I know the Supra is finally coming back with the manual, and I think that's a direct result of the Z. 6-speed manual or 9-speed automatic. And this is the magic button right there, which I love. Nissan calls it S mode. I would call it rev matching mode. And if you want to drive like Paul, our race car driver, just push that and the Z will automatically match revs to your driving style. The other cool thing, of course, that is a throwback to this vehicle's heritage are these 3 little binnacles. In this case, we've got boost, got turbo speed, and we've got volts. Now, we do have a much more modern looking infotainment system, touchscreen. No, we don't want to change that. Very easy to use. And of course, let's look at the cameras. Come on, show me the course lines, display settings. There we go. Contrast tint. It's probably a reverse camera, right? Yep, that's the reverse camera. So once again, nice to have a camera. And speaking of nice things to have, you will get a complete suite of safety gear, including blind side monitoring, I believe. Yep, right there. And pedestrian detection, both forward and backwards, autonomous braking. No autonomous driving as far as I can tell in this vehicle, but you know what? I don't want autonomous driving. The other thing that's oddly missing is dual climate controls. You've got, temperature, air location, and fan speed, but no dual temperature controls. And then, of course, you also have right there, you've got your modern infotainment screen, which has the way it should be, a tachometer right in the center and speedometer. Now, fuel economy has been released, and you should probably Google this because I don't recall, but I think it's 1824, and that might be for the manual, and those numbers do change for the automatic. So I guess if you're looking at fuel economy numbers, this is probably not the car to get, but it's not bad. I mean, 400 horsepower is not going to be fuel sipper. And then, of course, my favorite button, if you want to go and lay some rubber, is right there, traction control off. Now, some of these controls, if you do have the current Z, are very similar. That's the similar locking mechanism from the previous 370. That's a shared bit of switchery gear as well. The rear mirror control. You do have USB-C and USB there as well, along with heated seats. but as far as I can tell, no heated steering wheel. Driving position is good. View out the front. It's a little claustrophobic. I mean, this is a low roof sports car, so if you try to check your blind spots, not great. So good to have, like I say, blind spot monitoring. But let's face it, this car isn't about any of that, right? What this car is about, and let's talk about that on the outside, is what once upon a time was, look, oh, show those, Ian, you gotta show those. Look at that, flying in formation. How cool is that? America, damn straight. What this car is about is the love of driving, right? And more importantly, what it's about is about price. Once upon a time, America, when I was a kid, was full of relatively affordable sports cars. First there was the British invasion, the Miata came along and copied them, and then of course, the Z came along with the Supra, with the Mitsubishi, with the Mazda, and today there's not a lot of these cars left, right? In the product presentation, Nissan compared this to the Cayman, they compared it to the Corvette, they compared it to the Jaguar F-Type. I'm not sure any of those actually compete with this. I think from a price point, this is a competitor, and it's not a muscle car, to the Mustang and the Camaro, because in Japan, I told you I would tell you this number, this car starts at about 50,000 yen. There's a sport version, there's a performance version. So if you get the sport version, which is a manual, 5 million yen, which I believe translates to $41,000, which in today's money is affordable. Now, will the American Z start at that? My guess is that it's probably going to start a little bit less than that, just because Nissan wants to bring back the affordable sports car, which is all well and good until you get to the fact that dealers will mark these up. There will be a market adjustment, and will that be 5, 10, 20,000? I don't know. But, it's already tugging at my heartstrings. And like I started this thing out by saying 53 years of the Z, 6 different generations. And the most important thing to me is when I walk away from a car like this, do I do this? And the answer is yes, I do. This car makes me feel special when I drive it. And speaking of driving it, if you want to know how it drives on the track, how it drives on the road, we've got a full review coming May 18th when all the other reviews will hit. But at TFL, we like to say you saw it first on the fast lane car. So there you go. You saw it first on the fast lane car. And next time, I think I'm going to have to start reviewing jets. Wouldn't that be cool? Look at that. Holy cannoli. Wow, 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 wow. I don't know if Nissan did this on purpose, but if you did, kudos, Nissan. It's a beautiful contrast of aviation and automotive heritage design. Pretty badass. And remember guys, check out alltfl.com if you want to see all of our news, all of our podcasts, all of our TikToks. See you guys next time. Ciao.